All right, next up, Google. Our friend Panaus from Google will be taking the stage. Welcome, Panaus.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. It's great to be here presenting. So I'm an industry manager for Forex for Google for the past 2.5 years. Before that, I was an investment banker. And what I basically do in Google is help Forex brokers use effectively and efficiently Google tools to grow their business. So my presentation is quite short. It's going to be around 15 to 20 minutes. And I will talk about online trends. So four basic parts in my presentation. Search, which is growing, mobile and tablets, which growth is exponential, social and video. And I will start with search. As you can see in the slides, these are searches, global searches for investment. So an investment search could be Facebook IPO, or why is Apple stock going down? And as you can see, in 2011, searches grew by 27% year on year. So as the previous panelist said, as volatility, with volatility, trading volumes increase, the same happens here. So when there is volatility in the markets, we see a lot of searches. So 2011 was a volatile year, we saw a lot of searches. 2012, which is a more stable year, searches did not grow as much as they did in 2011. The red line is mortgage-related queries. So I have this there so you can compare investing-related queries with a mortgage, so you can see how much people are interested in investing. So where did this growth come from? And it's mainly from tablets and mobiles. We already saw in 2012, 20% of all searches coming from mobile phones. And this is a 100% year-on-year increase. So people are using the smartphones a lot, and they're searching for things, investment, places to go, restaurants, etc. Search patterns are quite different depending on the platform. So in the blue line, you can see the desktop. So there's a lot of searches going on during the day. We're in work. The tablet, the red line, you can see how it picks during the night. So we're at home, we're relaxing, we see our tablet, as well as mobile, which is the green line. So during the evening, we use our tablets and mobile more. It's not in the slide, but also weekends, mobile and tablet usage goes up. And in summertime, when we're on vacation, we leave the PC home, we take the tablet and mobile, and we use it more. Okay, a little bit about how the users interact with this Google search page. So here you can see, let me see, okay. It's an 8-second framework. So we did an eye tracking technology to see how people behave when they search in Google. And here is where people focus in this 8-second window. Why 8 seconds? Because in it takes 8 seconds for the average user to find the information and click. If the user does not find the relevant information, will probably search again. Why is this important for your business? Because you need to be in this space here, which is the advertising space, 3 spaces, and the first organic results. If the user does not find you there, probably most likely will search again. Very few scroll down, or even fewer go to the second page. So you want to grow your business, it's very important to be here. SEO strategy or SEM strategy. Mobile. Every day, 1.3 million Android devices are activated. This is huge. And in 2015, we expect 3.5 billion smartphones to be in the market. And which is great growth, but 2015 is not far away. So the world is going mobile, and it will affect your business for sure. These are the queries. Again, I showed you a previous slide. So they grew, searches grew 100% on mobiles. But the paradox here is that only 20% of all advertisers have mobile optimized sites. What's a mobile optimized site? It's a site that it's really easy to press the buttons, does not have flash, etc., etc. So if you really want to engage with a really growing market, which is the smartphone, you really need an optimized website. And the market is behind in this area. Smartphone usage. I showed the previous slide was searches. This is usage. And you see how we use mobile compared to laptop. So there is a small peak in the morning. Sorry. There's a small peak here in the morning. So when we wake up, we check news, our emails. Also, there is a peak during lunchtime. So we leave our office, we go for a lunch outside the office, and we take our smartphone with us, and we use it. And again, night. It's very important. We use it a lot at our house. Okay, next, it's video. And you have a great opportunity to win this USB stick if you answer correctly. So, which is the world's second largest search engine? How many people go for C? Hands. Baidu? Okay. B, Yahoo? 2 people? 3? Come on, Yahoo's great. Only 3 people? Bing? Microsoft? Nobody. Nobody believes, no? Some brave? No. Okay. What about D, YouTube? Okay, more hands and, okay. So it's YouTube. I kind of gave the answer because this is video. So the people that raise their hands, there are some USB sticks. You can come and pick them up. So people really search in YouTube. It's the second largest search engine at the moment. And second largest website in the world after Facebook. And what is really amazing is that 70 hours of video are uploaded every minute. So by the time I'm done with this presentation, around 15 minutes, 1,000 hours of video will be uploaded from users. It's very big, and you know, everyone predicted that there will be billions of users of internet and there's going to be a tremendous growth of internet, but nobody really predicted that user-generated content will be uploaded on the internet. Nobody. People do behave differently when they watch video online rather than on TV. So we did the study, and there's a lean forward mode. So we lean towards our PC to watch video. So attention levels are higher compared to TV, where there's a lean backwards mode because we're on the couch, TV, and we don't pay that much attention. What is also very interesting is that for online, prime time is all the time. Compared to TV, that when you're at work, you don't watch TV, you go back home, and prime time is during the evening. Sorry. During the evening. So what has changed during the evening the past 2 years is we would see TV going up and online consumption going down for video 3 or 4 years ago. But right now, they're equal. So when we watch TV now, we have our laptop open or our tablet, and in parallel with TV, we're using it. So in the panels yesterday, a really important subject was education, how we educate new traders in China, in Korea, etc. And I really believe that uploading videos can really educate the market and help you grow your business. And it's, I think, especially in India and China, it's a great way. So online video can really help your business. Social. Okay. Who knows how many active users does Facebook have at the moment? Please. Facebook, how many active users? What's the amount? 1 billion, correct. 500 million Google+, which is the second largest social network, and Twitter comes third. How many of you actually use Twitter? Can I see some hands? So, like 15 people, 10 people. But everybody knows it, right? Who doesn't know Twitter? No one. So that's the power of social networks. We might not use them, but everyone knows them. And here, you can see the percentage of people that are using social networks that use more than one. So, okay. So you can see in this part of the world, people are using more than one social network. So you can see Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan. So social is very big in this part of the world, as well as in other parts, but especially in Asia. And again, mobile and tablet is very, very, very important. As you can see, more than 60% in Hong Kong and Korea are using access to their mobile phones. And of course, these numbers are going to increase significantly the following years. So social is on the go as well, such as trading is on the go, social is on the go. So why is this important for Forex and brokerage? There are very cost-efficient ways to engage with your customers and grow your business. So I have an example from FX Pro. They're using Google Hangouts, which is the equivalent of Skype. So you can have a platform where, for example, here is analysts and traders. They're interacting, they're exchanging opinions about trading, and then all this material is uploaded in the website to be viewed, and to FX Pro's YouTube channel. And again, it's a great way to engage with your audience, completely free, and growing your business. So, to finish and sum up, 3 things I would like for you to remember: that mobile and tablet, they're growing very fast, so you need to have a mobile and tablet strategy for the following years. Video consumption is booming. It's very high and will continue to be high. Social should be a significant part of your strategy. Thank you.
Next up is Orit, and she'll be talking about some trends.
Hi, so my name is Orit. I've been with Google for 3 years. Like Panos, I work with global Forex brokers, and we actually help them ramp up their marketing efforts on the Google platforms. And so I'll be speaking today about search trends in the retail Forex category, and we'll be looking at how to use or how to look at search trends and use these in order to first learn about our industry landscape, and second, to apply these trends into our marketing plans and efforts in the coming year, in 2013. So we'll be talking about seasonality and whether there is seasonality or not in the Forex category. Then we'll be looking at different regions where we anticipate that we'll see some growth in 2013. And lastly, we'll be talking about which subcategories within the Forex category are driving growth, right? So people search for different and various terms, and we'll be looking at which kind of terms are the ones that are fueling the growth in the category. And actually, I'm going to start with something completely unrelated, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about when I say search trends. So my first question is going to be, which company, so we have Apple and Samsung, which of them sold more phones in 2012? And I heard a lot of Samsungs, okay, so it seems like we already have an answer. So in order to kind of answer that question, I pulled a graph out from Google Trends. So this is an insights tool. You can access it through google.com/trends. And there you can see different trends for search volumes for various terms, for search terms, right? So the red line represents searches for iPhone globally on Google domains throughout 2012. And the blue line represents searches for Samsung Galaxy throughout the same period. So first of all, let me ask you, what's that huge peak in the red line and the iPhone line around, was it September 2012? Who knows? What happened in September? Steve Jobs. Who else wants to guess? iPhone 5, exactly. So when the iPhone 5 launched, we saw a huge growth in searches for iPhone, right? And you can't really see it in the blue graph, but when Samsung Galaxy 3 launched, I think it was around May 2012, we also saw a peak because both graphs are indexed, so it looks like a smaller peak in this graph. And then the third peak, late December 2012, that's just Christmas, so people, I guess, are shopping a lot for iPhones and for Galaxy phones, so we just see that, peak of retail searches for that. So to answer my original question, who sold more phones, now that we have these insights, who do you think sold more phones in 2012? Before I heard some Samsung. Are we still with Samsung? No one wants to guess? So the real answer is Apple. Apple sold a whole lot more phones. I think they sold double in 2012, although Samsung were giving a fight. But so what I want to demonstrate here is that search trends, so we saw earlier that the search trends for iPhone were much stronger, so the volumes for searches on iPhone were much higher, and also the trend was much bigger, right? So these search trends not only tell us what's happening in the real world, so when there's an iPhone launch, we can see it online in the trend, but they can also help us predict sales, right? So if I was looking at this graph, I could have guessed that iPhone is selling more, or Apple, sorry, is selling more. So keeping that thought in mind, let's jump into the Forex category search trends. So here we took a few dozens of terms, of very core terms that have to do with the Forex category. And again, we looked at the search trends for these terms globally, right? And so we can see a few things. First of all, we don't see a real seasonal trend the same way as we would in travel or in the retail categories, right? Travel is always, the summer is very strong and you see a very large trend. In retail, Christmas or all those months up till Christmas kind of peak. So in the Forex category, we don't see any kind of real seasonal effect, except for those Christmas dips. So you can see those dips around December. In January, which is always very strong. And actually, on the blue graph, you can see in the columns that in terms of seasonality, January and November are traditionally very strong. So they trend stronger in the Forex category. But just looking at this graph, it doesn't give us the whole picture, right? So what we really want to know is what's happening when the graph really peaks. And that, when we look deeper into that, we can see that actually the Forex category trends is highly correlated with what's happening in the markets, right? Not that surprising, but you can see that in 2011, the category peaked twice, around, I think it was August, September 2011. The first time was around the time when there was a debt crisis in the US and there was a voting in the Congress. In September, it peaked around the Euro crisis and the Greece bailout. So, and then we have a few more examples. In the green, May 2012 Facebook IPO'd, so they again pushed the category upwards. And so you can actually take this graph of search trends and put it against the graph of the S&P volatility index, and you'll see a very high correlation between volatility and what people or consumers are searching for on Google. So how does this help us? So we can't really anticipate what the volatility is going to be like in 2013, otherwise we would be very rich and maybe not here. But we can try to adapt our marketing efforts around different events that happen in the real world, right? So if in January we know there's a fiscal cliff voting in the US, which just happened a few weeks ago, and we actually did see the category really trending in early January, so we can actually adapt our messaging, maybe even our products and our marketing strategy around these kind of events that happen throughout the year. Another really good example is the Facebook IPO, which you can see there peaking in May. So Facebook IPO is something that we know about well in advance, right? And Forex brokers, which were early to understand that there's going to be a trend here, and could really capitalize on that trend by incorporating it into their strategy and also into their website, obviously. So moving along, so we're still looking at search trends, but now we're looking at search trends per country to really get an idea of which regions or which countries are growing. So we're going to start with APAC markets, okay? And at first, we're going to look at year-over-year growth in searches. So we're looking at 2012 over 2011 in these various markets. And you're looking at this slide, and you're probably thinking, uh-oh, this is not too optimistic, right? So we have Australia and Japan, which are probably the largest markets in terms of search volumes, which are actually not even growing, they're shrinking a bit. Then we have countries such as Thailand and Indonesia and Malaysia, which are growing, yeah, but they're not growing like what we would have expected. They're growing maybe double-digit numbers. But here I come and I tell you that this is not the whole story, what we're seeing here, right? We are only looking at search trends or search growth on desktop and computers and laptops. And the real story is looking at the same map, but in mobile growth. So we're looking at the same markets, and now we see a whole different picture, right? So I mentioned Japan and Australia are shrinking, but not really, because we can see that Australia mobile searches on the same terms has actually doubled. And this is, you know, a large share of searches, right? So in Australia, over 25% of all searches that we see in Google are coming from mobile. So this is not a small share. This is a large share, and it's doubling it's doubling its volume. And then Japan has grown 66%. And if we look at the emerging markets, so Thailand and Indonesia, Malaysia, they're all growing triple-digit when you look at mobile. And these are countries where mobile penetration is actually growing too. So we definitely expect to see this trend continuing as mobile smartphone penetration is doubling as well. So that's APAC. Looking at mature markets in Europe.
Orit,
Yeah?
I have a question.
Sure?
Sorry. Can you back up one slide? Because I think many people in this audience, if not everybody in this audience, one more slide. So the rest of pretty much all of Asia, except for I see one market there, double-digit growth in search on laptops and computers, yes? Mm-hmm. So it'd be safe to say India? Yeah. For Forex terms? Mm-hmm. All right.
And of course, when we say desktop, so I don't remember the exact number, but India's desktop is probably maybe 80% of the volume. So it's a lot of volume, and that is growing 12%. So it's a very impressive growth as well. But when we add to that mobile...
Because we're talking raw numbers of people searching.
Right.
Yes?
And
now
then,
let's go to the next slide.
And mobile, it's a smaller share in volume, but growing. So when I say smaller share, mobile, it varies by country. Mobile can be between 10-15% of all searches. And actually in countries such as Australia, US, UK, we're already seeing mobile searches taking a 30% share. So when a 30% share of a category grows, well, it doubles itself, we're talking about a lot of opportunity.
So to those in the audience that represent the Indian market, would it be safe to say that this industry is growing at exponential growth within the Indian market?
Definitely.
The local Indian population are definitely searching for this, outshining all other areas of the world?
Sure, we're going to look at them. So moving along to Europe. So Europe is a similar picture. We do see growth on the kind of eastern countries, so Russia. Poland really kind of had its growth in 2012, and we saw a lot of people entering, brokers entering that market. Russia is growing, Czechoslovakia is growing, Ukraine, Belarus, all those like Eastern Bloc countries are growing double-digit on desktop computers. And when we look at the three large markets in Europe, which are UK, France, and Germany, you can see them here in red. They're, again, it looks like they're shrinking, right, by 5%, by 3%, by 6%. But when I add the mobile growth, then again, we see a whole different picture. All of these countries are pretty much doubling in mobile growth. So very impressive numbers. And I think that Forex brokers, which decide that 2013 is their mobile first year, will really capitalize on this growth and leverage it. And then finally, we had a look at Middle Eastern markets in North Africa. And so here, Saudi Arabia, which is probably the largest market in terms of volume, is growing mildly by 5%. And we see North African markets growing as well. And in mobile, again, the same picture. So this is a trend that we see globally. Actually, I was surprised to learn that Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates have the highest mobile smartphone penetration, so mobile phones that have internet access. They're actually crossing the 60% smartphone penetration when the US is just about 40-something percent and the UK is around 50%. So these markets are way out there in mobile. And again, I would say focus on mobile, especially in markets where mobile web is growing. So that was our little look into regions and where we can where we see growth. And then the final topic we looked into was subcategories within the Forex category. So the Forex category includes probably thousands of different terms that we see that keep repeating themselves, right? And if we try to break them into subcategories of types of subcategories that Forex brokers use in order to kind of target their end consumers, we kind of see 5 different subcategories. So in the blue line, we have core. Core keywords would be any term that it is really kind of generic that has to do with Forex and Forex trading. So it could be, learn how to trade Forex and Forex trading and Forex as a term and so forth. Then we have in green commodities. So in commodities, we include the different commodity products, and gold really pushes this category in terms of volume. Make money in the yellow. So we see a lot of Forex brokers kind of targeting consumers that are, searching on Google for ways to make money, to learn how to make money. And then shares and stocks, which is the largest category in red, that category includes all of the different terms that have to do with, investing in stock markets and indices and stock tickers and so forth. The 5th category, which isn't here, is binary options. And the reason it's not here is because binary options as a core category, so if we're looking at binary options terms and trade binary options, the category in volume is fairly small. So it just didn't fit into the graph when indexed. So looking at this graph, it's pretty easy to tell that in terms of volume, like the major opportunity in terms of volume lies within the shares and stocks category. And it makes a lot of sense because people, that category has probably the largest, what we call long tail opportunity. So where people are like generating new terms as they go along of stocks, of ways to invest on investment education, indices, and so forth. So that's the category that definitely has the largest opportunity in terms of volume. We're also seeing it grow, right? So it's not only big, it's also growing. The second category, which is growing, is the commodities category. And I don't know if you can notice in the green line, but the commodities category is, again, correlated very strongly to the volatility index. So when we see the markets kind of, going wild, so if there's a lot of market uncertainty, then people go to gold, right? It makes sense. So we see a lot of gold searches when volatility is high. So commodities as a category is big, it's growing, and it's also very sensitive to market volatility. So if 2013 is going to be volatile, you can definitely expect the commodities category to grow as well. And then if I spoke about stocks, I did want to give a few examples of kind of terms we're seeing that are included in the stocks and investment category. So on the left, I hope you can see, I'll even just point out a few terms. We can see that in overall absolute volumes, terms that are kind of driving the stocks category are pretty much generic stocks, like stock price, examples for, I confused you guys. So these are examples of stocks that are driving the stocks category. So we have a stock price, Apple, Google stock, Apple, iPhone stock. So people are searching for like tech type stocks. And those are in absolute volumes are pretty strong. And then on the right hand side, we can see search terms that are actually on the rise in 2012. And you kind of see that Facebook dominates most of the rising searches, which makes a lot of sense because Facebook IPO'd in 2012. So a whole range of keywords, a whole range of terms were kind of introduced, right? So people started searching for Facebook in 2012, and that's why we see them here. So we can see that Facebook shares grew threefold in 2012. Facebook stock, we have Facebook share price and so forth. And then we have a few other stocks which we see on the rise, such as Tesco and Lloyd's. So these are really important insights, and they're accessible to everyone, and you can actually use these tools to data mine and look for interesting terms or stocks that are on the rise and incorporate them back into your product if you have a stocks product and into your marketing strategy. So just to sum up, I gave you a few tastes here of what we can do with search trends and what we expect to see growing in 2013. So if I had to kind of focus you guys on what to look at and where to invest, I would say first thing would be to adapt yourself to what's happening in the market and be quick about it, right? So if we know that there's going to be uncertainty in the U.S. economy now around the fiscal cliff and all of its applications, if we know there's a big IPO coming up this year, if we know about stuff that's happening, we want to definitely incorporate it back into our strategy. And the second thing would be to put mobile first, and I think I demonstrated how everywhere we look, we are seeing this huge, enormous mobile trend. And then finally, in terms of what your consumers are searching for, we definitely see the largest opportunity within the investment and stocks category. People are searching for this. We're seeing in terms of volume, in terms of growth, and actually in terms of costs, right? So to bring new traders through investment and stock terms is actually cheaper than to bring new traders through the core keywords, just because the costs are lower. So we definitely see opportunity there. A lot of brokers already have diversified their products into stocks and indices product. So we obviously do see a potential there, and of course to use that in your acquisition strategy as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Reet. Stay up there. Now I'm going to invite Panaus to come up, and John's going to ask you a few questions, and I might throw in a couple myself, and then we'll open it up to the audience.
Sure.
So we're seeing, obviously, the industry growing, and I think what a lot of people want to know is where we see the cost per clicks, the actual CPC rates, and how do you guys see that growing in this industry when companies are actually lowering their budget spends and ROI is a major focus? Maybe we'll just, if Ori can start, and then Panos.
Sure. So it's a very good question. I think the key to the answer is kind of breaking out CPCs to the different, categories I just mentioned. So there is a lot of competition in the industry, but we definitely see channels where you can definitely reach your, you reach your ROI with effective CPCs. I guess I would point out long tail keywords. So I was talking a bit about different terms that people search for. When you go to long tail, there's definitely less competition and more room for advertisers. And then the second kind of channel I would look at is, all those like newer channels such as mobile, which I spoke about. So mobile is very new, it's growing exponentially, and it's still cheap because not a lot of advertisers are still there. So that's, I think, an enormous opportunity, especially for smaller Forex brokers to find those competitive CPCs. And the second would be display, which we didn't really touch on, but there's, in the display channel, you can really kind of gain those competitive CPCs.
Panos, anything to add there?
Yeah, I guess that not all of you have marketing backgrounds, so in order to give you some, to explain the CPC. So when there's a search, for example, Forex, an ad can appear from an advertiser, and the advertiser pays Google whenever there's a click. More advertisers in the same keyword means more competition, more expensive clicks. That is what Orit was explaining. So at the moment, we see that not a lot of people are advertising mobile, so this is a channel of lower competition. And the other thing is that many global brokers still don't have presence in many countries. So they don't have the local language and local support, so there might be an opportunity there where is lower competition. So I think that it touched on all the other points.
Yeah.
In your search terms, the overall trends that we were seeing within the marketplace, double-digit growth in some areas, shrinkage in other. Mm-hmm. Is that in local language? Is that English? Am I searching for Apple stocks in English?
Mm-hmm. So okay. That's a good question. The analysis we did for that you just saw, we actually took the top keywords in the Forex category per local languages.
That was per local language. Very
so Google categorizes all the searches we see. So we see above 1 billion searches a day, and we actually categorize the terms we see per different categories, so we can later go back and look at Malaysia and pull out the top keywords within a specific category, such as Forex or investment or whatever.
So to increase your ROI, you were basically saying use the trending keywords efficiently in local languages. Otherwise, you might be wasting money. Yes?
All right, and as we've seen, there's a lot of new trends, a lot of new channels like mobile, and a lot more companies are going into their spends in display as well. What do you guys see as an industry, if we could, by percentage, if we broke down search currently, search, display, and mobile currently, and what would you guys foresee that to be in the future, given all this data that we have? And maybe Panos, you can take this first.
So the majority of the customers I work with predominantly see a higher ROI in search. So the majority of their budgets are there, but so it could be 50–60%. Then there's a lot of display advertising as well that could be in the range of 20–30%. But it doesn't really matter because some of them really measure ROI to the last click and the last penny and see which channels work better for them. So for the second part of your question, the major trend is coming from mobile, and at the moment, no more than 15, 20, 10% of marketing budgets goes to mobile, and this will change because people are using their smartphones more and more, so marketing budget will have to be allocated there eventually.
Yeah, I guess I would just add on top of that we see some companies that focus on display and that they're very good in display, and then they're probably their marketing budgets will go towards display as well. And then some companies are more focused on search and they know search better. So there's definitely opportunity in both. I think it depends on the focus of the company and their ability to kind of focus on different channels. And I think that mobile should be viewed not as a separate channel, but rather the next channel, right? So search and display as channels are going to be on mobile. Mobile is just a device. So, I mean, that's, I think, the future.
Yeah. I think it's quite evident from a lot of the information that we've seen that mobile is, the next big thing. And it's very surprising that very few websites are actually built mobile friendly. So I think that's one big thing that Banos pointed out. And so in terms of cost per click, again, I hate to go there again, but for mobile, how much lower, would you see is that currently compared to search, traditional search in search and mobile?
So it's definitely cheaper. We are seeing less competition on mobile, although obviously it's growing. I don't know specifically for the Forex category, but in general, I think we saw the difference. Mobile is cheaper, I think, by 20-something%.
In some markets for Forex, even more.
It really depends per market, per type of keyword, and per category. But it's definitely an opportunity that brokers can leverage this year.
All right, that's all I have. Jason, maybe we can ask the audience.
Here we go. Sorry. Oh.
Thank you. I'm Yoav from UPay. My question is the following. If I allocate budget for mobile advertisement, will I also enjoy the tablet, or mobile is totally different category? Which means tablets are under the mobile category or PC category?
Okay. Each platform is different, but we consider the tablet closer to the PC. So even though they're not the same, user behavior is close. Mobile is it's very different from tablet and from PC. So if you'd like to advertise on mobile, there's an opportunity only mobile. If you want tablet, only tablet, and desktop, only desktop. So you can choose. Did I answer your question?
Oops.
What I learned from Orit that it's more, or it's cost effective, or it's a bit cheaper to go for the mobile, and it may be worthy. And the question is if the same goes for tablet. If I should allocate more budget to tablet and in a cheaper price, because as we know, the CPC now is quite expensive for popular words in our industry.
Should I?
Yeah. Well, I think in terms of costs, tablet is cheaper again because there's less competition. But I think in terms of strategy, when you're looking at your marketing efforts, I have to agree with Panos that it's similar to desktop in the way that users behave on tablets. So we see that users, like for example, shop a lot on tablets, right? So maybe you have to. I would definitely, to break my answer into two, I would definitely include tablets in terms of your budget allocation and planning. Maybe I would look at it a bit differently than just like putting it together in that mobile bucket, but actually give tablet its own kind of place, especially since not only user behavior is different, but we also know that tablet users are usually indexed high in terms of income, and they shop more. So we're seeing a lot of research about how tablet users are usually much more ROI for advertisers in the finance world and e-commerce world. So yeah, I would definitely target tablets, but maybe put it in a separate bucket than mobile in terms of the way you kind of approach it.
So yeah, the main distinction between desktop and tablet is that tablet users are more affluent at the moment. It will even out in the next years, but right now we see higher incomes of people using tablets.
Other questions? All the way in the back. Can you get that one? Younger.
Hello. Google seems to have run into some trouble with the Chinese government due to the censorship. Do you have a strategy for that?
I wish our CEO was here. He would be probably able to answer this question. This is true. I don't think we're the appropriate people to answer this.
I'll just say, I mean, there was a point where Google kind of left China and then we went back to China. I mean, today there's a Google office in China. We're investing in China. In terms of platforms and advertising, I mean, we do see growth on Google.cn, so people are advertising on search. But to be honest, I think the real potential in terms of kind of like Google channels in China are mobile and display. So our display network reaches, I think it's 86 or 90% of the Chinese internet population, and our mobile reaches around 60-something%. So Android is very big in China as well. So I'm not sure in terms of, you know, Larry Page, what exactly he's planning in terms of strategy, but, you know, more tactically, I would say if you're looking to advertise in China, there's definitely a lot of potential. Again, and especially in those two channels, in mobile and display.
Again, because not many from the audience are purely marketeers, when we say display, Google has partnered up with many publishers, many websites, thousands, millions, and we can serve ads on those websites of our advertisers. So, for example, we have partnered up with Bloomberg, and the advertiser comes to us, and we can show his ad at Bloomberg through our platform. So this is what we consider display. And search is the search engine. These are the two main channels. Hope it's clear for the audience. There's a question.
So I have a question here. As an FX broker, we have seen a shift in a trend from a lot of retail investors asking us about mobile trading rather than on a desktop trading, because especially when you're talking about the emerging markets, we have seen that a lot of retail investors especially are moving on to mobile trading. So how will Google add value to an FX broker like us?
Just repeat the last bit of the question.
So how will Google add, how will you going to help FX broker like us in terms of moving shift from desktop trading to a mobile trading?
What do we, like, how do we see it?
In terms of advertising.
Advertising. Yeah, I think, I mean, I don't want to get too much into details, but we definitely have like a suite of solutions for mobile advertising. I mean, we can take it offline after this, but in general, we're definitely seeing Forex brokers enter the mobile channel. Not all of them, but some of them are already there. And their strategy, I guess, is twofold. One is to drive traffic to their mobile site, and the second one, which I think is even the more interesting one, is to drive user downloads of their trading application. And the reason I think that's more interesting, because I think in the long term, it will see that it has more ROI, because there's much more retention when I download your application to my phone and it's on my homepage on my phone. I think it'll kind of prove itself to be much more beneficial. So we're definitely seeing those two channels in growth. That's in general. In terms of actual solutions of how to advertise, we can take it offline. It's very, you know, I think it may be too detailed for this forum.
And applications are great for this industry because our research shows that users really like to download apps they use daily or on a weekly basis. I really don't want to download an application of an insurance company that I use once per year to renew my car insurance. But for trading, it's very important because I can trade every day. It's like in gaming. People love to gamble, so you can use it daily.
Any other questions, Jason?
You told us that you have taken into consideration the various regional languages only when you compiled this data. Was it in comparison to English, or you actually did it, the data was with regional languages?
So we actually, what we did for the analysis was we took the top searched for terms per country. So in India, maybe Forex in English is searched for, more than, I don't know, Hindi terms. So that may be included as well. We just looked at, the top 100 terms that are the Pareto that are driving the whole category. So, I mean, again, we could take it offline and I can maybe have a look. I don't know if I have the Excel sheets here, but it would be just, the top search terms. A nice way to look at it would be if you visit the Google Trends tool I mentioned, so google.com/trends, and if there you kind of search for India and a foreign exchange category, the tool will show you the top volume searches, and then you'll get a good idea if the searches are in English or in a different language.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
I don't know which microphone to use. Any other questions? All right, my key takeaway that I think that I captured, and I find this extremely interesting, but I'm a marketing dork by nature. My takeaway is key languages to reduce my costs as a brokerage or a marketer in any industry. And those in India, you have some huge potential, just so you understand. Not only just the raw number of people you have, the raw number of people that are searching for those terms in their local languages. And your mobile, even though it's a smaller capture of the desktops, it is still significant double-digit growth of, 1 billion people. Forex term related. And those that are not Indians that are here, but want cheap traffic, cheap revenue streams, I highly suggest you talk to some of these gentlemen that are in the room that are representing an IB network within India. This looks like a true revenue stream. We've heard over and over about China, China, China. Now, China's obviously not well represented here within the data because they have Baidu, yes?
Right.
So we have to take that into consideration. Obviously, China is a gold mine, but I see another gold mine as well. Of course, there's some regulation type things to work through, yes, but this is what you guys are here to learn and maybe can help fix. Now, one key to regulation that I also heard, and it ties in well with Panaus, is education. Education, education, education. The more educated our clients are, the more educated the brokers are on educating the clients, the more favorable we will look to the regulatory arms, yes? So we look to you in this room to build the education. Educate, educate, educate. Use Google, YouTube, yes? It costs you nothing. There's zero cost involved there except for the production. And upload it, educate, 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 and also use it as a resource to generate revenue at zero cost. Am I correct in capturing all of that?
Perfectly.
All right, thank you very much. This concludes our Google panel. Thank you very much.